There used to be a day when you could put Kevin Durant and the term GOAT in the same sentence and not be looked at like you're crazy. KD set the tone very early in his career that he was a pure bucket getter, and that ability alone created a limitless potential for him. He became the youngest player ever to win a scoring title in 2010 at the age of 21. He also notched a scoring title in 2011, 2012, and 2014, giving him 4 to his name just 7 seasons into his career. When Michael Jordan turned 50 in 2013, Ahmad Rashad sat down with him for a special NBA TV interview, and when asked to pick between Kobe and LeBron, the GOAT's initial response surprised many.
Well, I mean, that's a tough one. I would say Kevin Durant.
Now, MJ and Ahmad, of course, laughed this off as a joke, but as this comment says, KD being mentioned by Jordan back then when Kobe and LeBron was still in their prime is already a validation of KD's talent. So yes, there indeed was a time when Kevin Durant was on a trajectory to being mentioned among the greatest to ever play the game, if not become the greatest to ever do it. Until this happened. But because you're here and still watching, you saw the title of this video and are probably wondering, how is this guy possibly going to argue for KD as the GOAT when there is clearly no path for him to become that at this point in his career? Like these comments, maybe you think I've lost my mind, and maybe you're asking, bro, what is you smoking? Well, allow me to provide you with the all-important context to the statement. Kevin Durant is actually the GOAT of this, and no one can tell me otherwise. Because as an NBA player that can best be described as having a complicated legacy, there's one section of basketball in which even the likes of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James fail to compare. In this section of basketball, Kevin Durant stands alone, and the results are so impressive that they challenge all the narratives surrounding KD's NBA career, that he's not clutching big moments and can't deliver on the big stage. Because when we take a look at KD's unrivaled achievements with USA Basketball, it makes me wonder, even with Kevin Durant's complicated NBA legacy, is it even a question that he's the GOAT of USAB? And how does that affect his legacy overall? Alright, let's pause for a quick shout out to Rakuten, who is not sponsoring this video by the way. They're just the #1 option for cashback with online shopping. I use Rakuten whether it's through the website or the app every time I shop online, and I have a link in the description down below. Now, I'm completely transparent. This is an affiliate link. I will get credit if you go to this link, but most importantly, you will get credit because when you spend $30, you'll get $30 back, and whatever store that you're shopping at, depending on the cashback that they're giving right now, you'll get that percentage back as well. It's legit. I've used this for years. Think about it like this. Support my channel through the link by buying whatever you want online. That's a pretty good deal, right? Let's get back to the video. Fresh off his first scoring title at 21 years old, KD was a part of the class that was next up in the revamped USA Basketball program. The Redeem team had done its job at the 2008 Olympics, and now it was Kevin Durant's turn to lead the US back to gold at the World Cup. The roster, per usual for World Cup teams, would look a lot different than the Olympic roster. In this case, it was entirely different, with no players from the Redeem team playing. That meant that the likes of Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade were not walking through that door. Instead, the US opted for a youth invasion with the likes of 21-year-olds Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon, Kevin Love, along with 22-year-old Steph Curry to represent alongside Durant. And with the chance to win its first world championship since 1994 and overtake Argentina for the #1 world ranking on the line, Durant turned in a tournament performance for the ages, one that's widely considered the greatest performance by any American ever in international competition. In his first tournament representing the US on the international stage in Turkey, KD scored the most points ever in a single FIBA competition with 205 and led the Americans with a record, men or women, 22.8 points per game. None of his teammates averaged more than 10 points He also dropped the most points in a single FIBA game in USAB history when he went off for 38 points in 38 minutes in the semifinal against Lithuania. And in the gold medal match against the host country Turkey, who boasted a starting lineup with 3 NBA players in Hito Turkoglu, Ersan Ilyasova, and Omer Asik, Durant buried 7 threes and poured in 28 points to cap off a perfect 9-0 tournament for the Americans. How does a guy that's just 23 years old lead a U.S. team in scoring that consists of Kobe Bryant, prime LeBron James, and prime Carmelo Anthony? Well, I guess your name just has to be
Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Starring in his first Olympics on the Redeem Team 2.0, Durant slotted in seamlessly to a veteran lineup and contributed a team-high 19.5 points per game. And in the gold medal rematch against Spain, Durant came up clutch when it was needed most, dropping 30 points and 9 rebounds to lead the Americans to a 107-100 victory. Okay, how do I say this nicely? There were a lot of problems heading into the 2016 Rio Olympics. Mosquito-borne diseases suspected of causing birth defects, safety concerns with robberies and threats, a Russian doping scandal, an uninhabitable Olympic village, water pollution involving raw sewage, air pollution that might have been worse than the water, infrastructure delays, and, well, I just can't handle any more of this, so I'm just going to stop and say Kevin Durant still went and dropped 19.4 points per game to lead the U.S. to gold, just about a month after the basketball world flamed him for joining the Warriors in free agency. So yeah, there's that. Talk about a back-to-back bummer for the Summer Olympics. This one had to take place a year later in 2021 due to the pandemic. No fans in attendance, and it featured arguably the weakest U.S. basketball team since the 2004 squad that took bronze in Athens. They lost to Nigeria in an exhibition game in Las Vegas, and also dropped the first game at the Olympics since 2004, losing their opening contest and exhibition play to France. But for KD, this would be the first and only stain on his USAB record, because from there on out, he rallied the Americans to 5 straight victories, including a revenge W in the gold medal match against France, while averaging the most points in a single Olympics ever, with 20.2 points per game. Durant became the all-time leader in points and threes made for USA basketball during these Olympics and tied Carmelo Anthony for a record 3 Olympic gold medals. So why should we have expected anything less from KD at the 2024 Paris Olympics? Well, maybe because he sat out all 5 exhibition contests with a calf strain leading up to the games, and well, we all know from his past injury history that you don't mess with a calf strain. But in typical KD fashion, he bounced back from the injury and proceeded to get buckets quite literally right away. Coming off the bench against Serbia, he didn't miss a shot in the first half, and went nearly perfect from the floor on the night to lead the team in scoring with 23 points. He came off the bench again versus South Sudan and turned in another double-digit scoring performance with 14. Through 2 games, he led all players and made threes while shooting 100% from downtown. And by the time this video comes out, I'm sure he will have added to these totals in the US's game against Puerto Rico. And real quick, if this is the type of basketball content you've been looking for on YouTube, then let me know about it by leaving a like and become a part of the best basketball community on YouTube by hitting subscribe and turn on notifications. Let me know in the comments down below, does KD's USAB accomplishments affect his overall legacy? I considered waiting until the end of the Paris Olympics to make this video, but then I said to myself, hold up, what's the delay? KD is already the GOAT of USAB, regardless of if he notches a men's record 4th gold medal or not at these games, and that fact should be shared and celebrated, because the whole stigma that Durant is an unloyal traitor that packs his bags when times get tough seems to lose its sting when you consider his USAB journey. You know how Matt Damon's character is asked in Jason Bourne, will you commit to this program? Well, this man KD has been committed to USA basketball through some of the absolute worst conditions surrounding the Olympics, and despite the circumstances, he showed up with his squad in numerous foreign countries and proved himself to be the best player in every tournament he's played in since 2010. With all this considered, it makes me think about another title for KD. Super Team GOAT. Before you laugh, just hear me out for a second. Kevin Durant is one of the best, if not the best, scorer in NBA history. I posted a poll on this, and as of the time of this video's release, nearly half of y'all who responded agree with that statement.
PG starting 5, and today's theme, Mello, is going to be phone booth scores.
3? Myself. I gotta go with myself.
There we go.
I got.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yes, I gotta go with myself. Do it. No, I gotta go KD. I gotta go KD.
Fair.
I gotta be honest.
Fair.
I gotta go KD.
Okay.
PG, a former teammate of KD's on Team USA, agrees with y'all as well. Yet the way in which KD gets his buckets is so adaptable to whatever system he's in that the man can slot into any team on planet Earth and instantly make that team better without disrupting their entire system. You see, unlike MJ, Kobe, and LeBron, Durant is not a ball-dominant player and doesn't need to control the rock for long durations of time to affect the game offensively. His mere presence on the court creates a matchup nightmare for the opposition, and he's always been great at picking his spots and scoring at an efficient clip. He has all the tools in his bag that make him an absolute must for any Team USA roster, which is essentially a super team roster. And if his willingness to come off the bench and still instantly contribute has told us anything, it's this: there is no player whose game has remained as unaffected while contributing at an elite level around other stars than Kevin Durant. And that's a rare thing that can't be said of all the greats who have played the game. But the truth is, nothing that Durant does in terms of winning going forward is going to make everyone happy, because some will always hold his move to Golden State on July 4th, 2016 against him. If you're still watching this video and that's your opinion, I respect that. You're definitely entitled to it. But today, I want to pose this. What if we view KD's career through a different lens? What if we look at all the tall, thin dudes that have come after him with all the potential to be the next KD, and yet none of them have come close? What if we looked at the results he's produced on the biggest stages of basketball? And what if we elevated the importance of having pride of country and winning at the highest level on the international stage alongside winning NBA championships? Because it was Kobe Bryant that said it best.
When you play in the NBA, you're playing for a particular city, a particular market. When you're playing for your country, those lines go away. Right? We're all together. We're all playing for USA basketball, and it carries a great honor with that goes above and beyond winning the NBA championship.
So even with Kevin Durant's complicated NBA legacy, is it even a question that he's the GOAT of USAB? How does that affect his legacy overall? Sound off in the comments with your take, and I'll be reading and replying to y'all's responses. And I'll be back with another episode of Topic Tackle coming soon. As always, stay solid, people.